Something strange is happening in the Horn of Africa. Whispers of enemies turned allies, movements on the border, secret talks turned public. And all of it might have started, not in a government office or on a battlefield, but in a YouTube video. Yes, a simple video, released quietly but deliberately, might have signaled the start of something much bigger. This isn't just another rumor swirling around Mekelle or Asmara. This is tangible, documented, and unfolding in plain sight. Two of the most ideologically rigid voices from opposite ends of one of the region's most bitter rivalries have met publicly, and they didn't clash, they aligned. Awel Said, a staunch voice of Eritrean state narratives, and Berhane Gebregergis, a known TPLF mouthpiece, have appeared together on a platform called Idmona Channel. They talk politics, peace, grievances, but more importantly, they talk like allies. Now, for outsiders, this might seem minor. But for anyone who knows the bloody history between these two camps, it was chilling. Or depending on where you stand, it was strategic. Think about it. For 25 years, these sides were locked in bitter hostility, across trenches, across politics, and even across the battlefields of the recent Tigray War itself. They weren't just rivals. They were sworn enemies who fought brutal wars against each other. And yet today, they sit across from each other, not as foes, but as partners. That alone is a seismic shift, the kind that doesn't happen without deep changing currents underneath. Welcome to the Horn East, where we look beneath the surface, beneath the headlines. If you want clarity in a region defined by shifting alliances, subscribe now. Hit that bell so you never miss a story like this one, because today's small conversation might just be tomorrow's war. Let's rewind. The current tension didn't start this week or even this year. It goes back to the early 90s. The TPLF, once the dominant force in Ethiopian politics, helped bring down the Derg regime and shape a new federal order. But its grip over Ethiopia bred resentment from other regions, and especially from Eritrea, which had fought its own long, painful war for independence. That tension exploded in 1998 over border towns like Badme, leading to a brutal 2-year war that killed tens of thousands and froze relations for nearly 2 decades. Now jump to 2020. Ethiopia launched a so-called law enforcement operation in Tigray, accusing the TPLF of attacking a federal base. That operation quickly escalated into a civil war. Eritrea didn't stay out of it. On the contrary, they joined in, sending forces across the border to fight alongside Ethiopia's federal army against their former TPLF enemies. It was a rare alliance. Eritrea and Ethiopia, once mortal enemies, united against a common foe. But as always, in this part of the world, alliances are fragile and often temporary. Fast forward to 2025, and Tigray is fractured. The interim leadership under Getachew Reda has been replaced by a more militant faction loyal to Debretsion Gebremichael. The Ethiopian federal government, in turn, appointed Tadesse Worede as head of the regional administration. Tadesse isn't a politician, he's a military man, a former commander who led TPLF forces during the war. His return was a clear signal. The federal government wants control, and it's willing to pick a familiar but forceful face to get it. According to the Reuters report, Tadesse was chosen not for unity, but for stability, meaning military stability, not political consensus. And right there, right at the moment when Mekelle was remilitarized, came the meeting. Awel and Birhanu on Hidmona, public, intentional, and carefully framed. They didn't just discuss their shared views, they laid out a potential path forward, a strange one, a cooperative one. Could it be posturing? Yes. But consider this. Eritrean forces have begun amassing again near the disputed border towns, Badme, Zalambesa, and beyond. These aren't exercises, these are deployments. Meanwhile, sources in Tigray speak of discreet meetings, hushed orders, and signs of regrouping. The TPLF, or at least a faction of it, may be preparing to move again, with or without federal permission. And if this truly becomes an alliance, a formalized one between a Tigrayan faction and Eritrea, the consequences will be massive. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's forces would be stretched thin, already engaged in border tensions with Somalia, entangled in diplomatic games with Egypt over the Gerd, and reliant on uneasy alliances with Amhara militias. Addis Ababa might not be able to hold the center if it's attacked from both north and east. What about outside players? Sudan is watching carefully. Egypt has everything to gain from a destabilized Ethiopia. What's certain is this, that one Hidmona Channel conversation may go down as the quiet beginning of a loud storm. If you're still watching, hit the like button and let us know in the comments. Do you believe this TPLF Eritrean opening is real, or just a show for the cameras? This is The Horn East. Subscribe, share this episode, and stay sharp. Because in the Horn of Africa, nothing stays quiet for long.